Good morning everybody, how are we doing? I am feeling very emotional today. Bear with me because we may have a cry, we may go completely off track and be all over the shop. I don't know what my brain is going to do today. I've got severe sort of emotional baby brain, and I feel like a part of my brain has just decided, right, we're not working now for the rest of your pregnancy, and I'm just not very like switched on. I wasn't really prepared for that part. I knew that my body would get more and more worn out, but I didn't really like think that the brain would just turn to smush, and it kind of has. Anyway, hi guys, I have really missed sitting down and having proper catch-ups with you, so I thought today we could sit down and talk all things juicy, personal, in-depth updates and answer lots of questions that are a bit more kind of the things you talk about on a vlog, basically, because I've done a lot of vlogging recently but I haven't just really sat down and connected with you, and that is my favourite part of YouTube. So if you would like to discuss anything that I discuss in the comments, please do, because I really want to just chat to you and feel this relationship that we've built over the years. So that's what we're going to do, and we are going to get ready while we do it. That's why I have these butterfly clips in my hair so that I can do my makeup at the same time. Right, first question. Are you nervous for so much change ahead? Yes, I definitely am, and I feel like any first-time parent, if they say they are not, they are most probably lying, because you can do as much preparation as you want. You know, you can read as many books, you can prepare for the birth, you can do all the classes, you can prep your house, you know, months in advance, but I feel like you will never know what it's going to be like until it actually happens, and until you have that change happen in your life. I'm definitely nervous, and I feel like I have different days though. Some days I'm like really excited nervous. For instance, when I was reading my hypnobirthing book, and it sounds really weird, but I was so excited when I finished that book to give birth, and I was just so excited to be able to experience it and to just embrace it and hopefully have a good experience with it too, and do it with Niall. And because a lot of that book is about, you know, it's a two-way street with your birth partner, and it takes two to tango, but it also takes two to give birth, and I was just really ready to do it with him. Right at the end of reading that, I was just like, oh, I wish now was the time, because I'm ready. But then I also do have, you know, wobbly nervous days where I'm scared, and I am, you know, nervous for the fact that everything's going to change forever, and the dynamic in your house is going to change forever, and sometimes that makes me really excited nervous, but sometimes it does make me wobbly nervous. And you know, I think about, it'll never just be me and Niall, it will always be someone else too. But then I guess it just depends on your mood, because sometimes that will make me so excited and I'll be like, oh, I just can't wait to have that extra bit of love in the house and to see Niall with them and to see him turn into a dad. It's a big change, and it's something that I've never experienced, and I used to be massively triggered by change with anxiety, and that was what made me anxious. And I think a lot of people do find change scary. It's, you know, it makes you completely go out of your comfort zone, and it usually creates the best things ever, but beforehand you feel nervous about it, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, I am definitely nervous, but good nervous mainly. And then yeah, I have more negative moments too, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't. And I do think at this point in pregnancy, near the end, I have found, whether it's like family or whether it's, you know, people online, because obviously I share everything on my journey of this pregnancy online too, people more than ever say to you, are you ready for this change? Your life's going to change forever. And if you are having a bit of a wobbly day, those comments can sort of throw you a bit and really make you feel, hormones are all over the shop right now, very much so in my case. I'm definitely in that phase where my hormones are extreme. So yeah, it just depends on the day. It depends on the mood, but usually it's excited nerves, and yeah, I'm really excited, but also I am nervous. How much weight did you gain during your pregnancy? Now, I don't actually measure myself. However, on your first midwife appointment, which I had at about 7 weeks, they do measure you, and I think I was around 64 kilos or something like that. I also actually measured myself a few weeks back when we went to a spa, because there was a scales there, and I was just intrigued how much I'd gained through pregnancy. I don't usually like to use scales because in a fitness sense they don't make much sense, because muscle weighs a lot, and I think I just years ago decided not to measure myself like that because it can be quite triggering. But I was just really intrigued with the pregnancy, and I think at that point when I measured myself again I was about 75 kilos. So that was a few weeks back, and that was before I was deep into 3rd trimester, where your baby gains about ½ pound a week. I think that's right, what my app said. So I'm probably a lot more now. So yeah, I definitely had already gained about 10-11 kilos at that point. Thought you got rid of your Beetle, what happened to your new car? I saw a few questions like this in the question box. So I have got my new car still, but it is still being made. So because it was a new electric Volvo, mumsy car, baby blue, I'm so excited to have a baby blue car, but because of that it had like a backlog, and I think all cars at the moment for some reason that are being made really slowly. So yeah, it's just one of them, but it's going to be ready in September, which I'm really excited for. But we do have the other big car that Niall usually drives for the meantime, for the car seat and stuff for baby girl, so it will be fine. I've still got my Beetle at the moment. If you don't know the story, it rolled down a hill, and with the handbrake up, the handbrake just like failed, and it hasn't done it since, and I've been very careful. I've been leaving it in gear and stuff, which loads of people told me to do, and I didn't know that was a thing. But I still don't really want to put her in it because it's a very old car and I just don't fully trust it anymore. And it's also, I know you can get car seats in 2-door cars, but I think it'd just be easier to use the bigger car that Niall drives more in the meantime. But it's only going to be a few months where we don't have my car to put her in, so it'll be fine. Okay, are you intentionally not going to events with other influencers, etc., and why? So I don't love influencer events. I will go to them if I'm like really close to a brand. Like I have certain closer relationships with certain brands, like Charlotte Tilbury. I love the girls that work at Charlotte Tilbury, and I've done a lot of work with them, so I kind of know them a bit more personally, because they obviously did my wedding. So like if I'm close to the brand, I will go to things, but I've been going a little bit less since I've been pregnant, to be honest, because I don't know, I think they're less now anyway since COVID. There was a lot more influencer events for COVID, and then they obviously had to stop them during that time, and I think a lot of things now are like Zoom events. It's really weird. If I'm working with the brand and they're having a big event, I will go, but yeah, they're just not my favourite. They can be a bit cliquey. Some of them are really fun, but they can be a bit cliquey. I've never really been massively involved in the influencer industry like that. Like I have a few friends from the influencer world. I love some influencers, like as in the ones that I watch or, you know, like their stuff online. But I also get a little bit of imposter syndrome, not gonna lie, where I just would be too scared to go and say hello. So if like there was an influencer that I really liked and I met them at, or I saw them at an event, I probably wouldn't go over and say hi because I would feel embarrassed and just silly. So yeah, I mean, when I used to work for Gymshark, I think things were a lot more sort of influencer eventy, everyone was friends. I don't know, I think the industry just changed a bit, and I just like to keep myself to myself. And I just prefer to hang out with my personal friends, to be honest. But there's no like juice or anything. No like intention where I'm like, I'm not going to an influencer event because this and this happens, because it doesn't. Occasionally it can be cliquey, but usually everyone's just normal. Are you scared of pooping in labour? To be honest, no, not really. What happens happens, and I'm sure my brain won't even be worrying about that at the time. At least I don't want it to be, because I want to just be focused on the birth if I can. I'm very comfortable with Niall and don't really keep things from each other. We're very open people with each other, and he's made me like that, because I think before I definitely wasn't that open and I was much more shy. And we had a conversation about this when we were on our baby moon, because I said to him, like, I'm so grateful that he's made me feel that way, because before I was with Niall and I had quite a toxic on and off relationship through my teens with a guy who was not very nice. He never made me feel confident and comfortable in my skin. And not that you can fully rely on a man to ever do that, or a partner to ever do that for you, but if someone like actively doesn't make you feel confident, and they don't, you know, you're having sex with a guy and you're already not very confident in your body, but he actively also doesn't really take any time for you during being in bed, and you know, you're having sex but it's all about him, that I think can really make someone feel less confident in their body. And Niall definitely helped me feel confident as a woman, because why am I talking about this? The question was about pooping in labour. The point is, I'm much more open about my body now, because Niall has helped me to feel confident in my body. So I'm much more open about things that are like less nice, because he makes me feel okay about it. For instance, with pooping in labour, I would have never felt like I could be open without making a guy like go off me, but because Niall makes me feel like nothing is, you know, it's just life. And I don't know, it's just like being able to walk around naked in front of a guy. Like, I never would have done that before Niall, like, but he makes me feel like I can do that, because he's made me feel confident in myself. And then I've also gained confidence from that, then from self-acceptance, because yeah, I've grown up and I've felt that love from him. I don't know if that makes sense. But no, I'm not really scared of pooping in labour, because what will be, and I know a lot of women do, and it's not uncommon at all. And I'm sure Niall will just be fine with it, and he's who's going to be there with me. So I think it's more like, if you think someone in the room, if you're embarrassed in front of someone else in the room, and the midwives I'm sure would have seen it all, so I'm not too worried about that. Also, I just popped on the Rare Beauty bronzer stick, which is unbelievable. It just kind of like melts in. I love it. Okay, how often do you have sex at the moment? Has your sex life changed? We are getting juicy today, aren't we? I think with this one, it can really be dependent on how you feel when you're pregnant as well, because I did see quite a lot of these questions, but also quite a lot of them said underneath, I'm pregnant and feel really like unsexy, so I don't, you know, want to. So I think it's very dependent on, like, you know, how you're feeling about your body, what kind of symptoms you have. You might be feeling really sick, which, you know, obviously isn't going to help, or you might be really achy and uncomfortable. I don't think so far pregnancy has personally affected our sex life in a negative way. Niall is very supportive of my body, and I'm really grateful for that. He loves my belly now that it's got the bump. Obviously some days I have days where I'm like less confident about my body, and some days I have days where I feel really like saucy and just like love my body. And again, I think that's very normal for a pregnant woman to, you know, for the vast changes that your body is having day to day. Some days you do just feel a bit bleh, and then some days you feel really confident and like you, I don't know, you just feel really beautiful and saucy. I don't think it's affected it negatively yet. You have to slightly adjust things as you get bigger. Me and my best friend Bri, who's also pregnant, like 1 week ahead of me, were talking about this on the weekend. There's certain positions that don't work quite so well, and bump does sometimes get in the way. And I think some people did say, like, do you find it weird when like you can feel the baby kick if you're having sex? Sometimes I do find that weird. There's been some instances where it does freak me out. It doesn't creep Niall out too much, but I guess you can't feel the kick. And I can find it a bit distracting. My brain just, I don't know, gets a bit lost away from what's actually going on, and I just find that bit a bit strange. In general, I actually think it's slightly improved our sex life because we are even more connected now at the moment. I think because we both know we've made something that is half me and half him, we feel particularly close, and we've entered this new stage of our relationship together, and I don't know, we just feel super connected, which I always hoped would be the case, but you just never know. But because of that, I feel like our sex life is probably better than it ever has been. And then when it comes to how often we have sex, it completely varies. For instance, if we're on holiday on our baby moon or something and we're just in like a bubble, we're not really working, we're much more relaxed, our minds are just with each other, then we will have more time to like have it much more often. But then, you know, when you're at home and you're busy, you know, if Niall's at the gym late or I'm working on something late or he is, and you're tired and you have less time, and we may have it slightly less, but we definitely always make sure we do a few times a week because we both really value it in our relationship, and I do think that it's very important in our relationship as a couple. Like I don't want my sex life to die 10 years on, and Niall definitely doesn't. It keeps us very connected because we still fancy each other. Talk a lot about it too, and I think that really helps because if, you know, we do go through patches where we are less connected in that way, the other one will tell each other and then we'll make adjustments. So I think it's really key to talk about it if it is bugging you in your relationship. What sort of birth are you hoping for? I would like to have a water birth, but I'm a bit nervous because there's only 2 birthing pools at my hospital. So we shall see, and I don't want to get too fixated on it in case it can't happen, and I don't want it to like throw me off when I'm in labour and I really want like a birthing pool and I freak out. So I'm not fixating on it too much, but I would like a water birth, I think, because I just like being in water, and my best friend gave birth in water and she said it was amazing. But I would like to also hopefully only use gas and air as pain relief, but I'm not cancelling anything out because if I feel like I need an epidural, then I will. But I'm kind of like it's not my preference to, just because, well, there's not really a reason. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having an epidural at all. But I don't really want to not be able to feel the bottom half of my body for a few hours after birth if I can help it. You can't have an epidural in a water birth as well. But yeah, definitely gas and air. Although some people say that it makes them feel a bit sick and weird. So maybe I won't even like gas and air, I don't know. And also I may be just like, give me everything. And I think I'm just going into it with what will be, and I don't want to be too precious or too particular. And I mean, you can have preferences, but I think it's just about preparing for it not to just necessarily go exactly how you want. Things just happen, there's nothing you can do, and if you are too fixated, then you can really get thrown in labour, from what I've heard. Will your mum be at the birth? No, my mum's not going to be at the birth. She will be here with the pets and probably the first person to come meet her, but we just wanted it to be me and Niall for our first baby. If we have a second, then I think I would like my mum to be there too, but I think we just wanted to experience this moment together, just me and him, and my mum completely understood that. So yeah, second one, possibly a home birth, depending on how this first one goes, and if we are lucky to have a second one, possibly a home birth. And my mum, I would like to be there then too. How did you find holiday so late on in pregnancy? Some of you asked me this on travelling and aeroplane. So after 28 weeks you need a fit to fly certificate, and you just get that off your midwife to say that, you know, as long as you're not having a high risk pregnancy, they will give you one. No one even looked at it. Like literally no one looked at it, but I had it just in case. Actually on holiday it was fine. The only thing I didn't think about is the fact that you can't lie on your front on a sunbed. So, you know, like if you're like me and you like to lie in the sun on a sunbed with a book for like, you know, hours, it's not as comfortable. So even on your back, like your lower back does start to ache quite a lot, and I didn't really take that into account because I don't know, I just didn't. You can't really tan your back because you can't lie on your front on your bump. So that's the only thing I would say, but otherwise it was lovely and really relaxing. Also depends like how you feel with heat, but I don't really, I like heat, and my bump tanned really quick too, but I think it's because it was sticking out. That's the other thing, is make sure you've got slightly higher factor sun cream on than maybe you usually would, because that fact happened. It's like your shoulders always get burned, don't they? Do you think your content will now change when you have baby girl? No, I don't really want my content to change too much. I always will talk about fitness, and I'm sure I'll have, you know, a lot that I want to talk about after baby comes and I get back into fitness, and I really want to, you know, gently, but I would like to, well, I just love fitness. I love lifting weights, and I would love to share my journey of how it is through the ups and downs after having a baby too. And so I will be doing lots around fitness, but just like me and Niall have always vlogged around our house and with our pets and a lot of our home life, we will do that with baby girl as well. But I'm not going to become, you know, a family YouTube channel, because as I've always said, I really want my identity to be me, and I also don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel yet because I don't have a baby yet, but I don't know how I will feel about, I don't know. I don't want her to be the focal point of my channel because she doesn't get to choose, and that fact I'm not sure how I feel about yet. I definitely want to show her, but she's not going to be like the main character of my YouTube channel, if that makes sense. I really don't know what I'm going to feel yet. I might not want to show her at all, but I'm sure that won't be the case. And I think, yeah, when she starts to really become, you know, a little human child, I think then I might stop filming her so much. I definitely want to kind of keep my identity and my hobbies and my loves, my channel, and, you know, keep this relationship I have with you guys. And then she might be here and there, and I'm sure she will be, but she won't be every second of every video. And I don't want to just become a mum vlogger personally, because there's lots of other things I want to chat about, and I know a lot of you probably won't care about that kind of thing. There will be some mum things that I talk about for sure, because I will have changed and I will, you know, be a mum, and that is just the fact in it, but it won't be everything. What date do you think baby girl will come? I don't know. I feel like I do get feelings a lot, like I really thought she was going to be a girl, and that was a lot to do with my grandma and just feeling like something connected there, because I couldn't believe that I got the opportunity to tell my grandma about her, and then a few days later she suddenly passed away. You know, she wasn't unwell or anything when I saw her, but also I couldn't believe that I'd gotten pregnant and arranged to go and tell her, because if I got pregnant the next month she never would have known, and, or, you know, 2 months down the line she never would have known. And that fact I found really something strange about it. And then when she passed away, I really thought she was going to be a girl, and something was like passing. Like there was a little bird that sat outside our room when we were on our baby moon. Every day it would sit there, and then I said to Niall, I was like, I think that's my grandma. I think she's coming to see how we are, and I think she wants to be like a part of this journey in some kind of way, because they say that about birds, like singular birds always being with you, and this bird was there every single day, same place, same time. And yeah, there's just something about it. So with the date as well, her due date is 2 days before my grandma's birthday would have been, so I feel like she might come on my grandma's birthday, but that is 2 days late. But then my mum also thinks she's going to be early because all of her kids were early, and some people believe that you follow, you know, what your parents, how your parents gave birth, or, you know, their situation, but I don't think that's always the case either. So who knows? Do you guys think she's going to be an end of June or early July baby? I would love to know, because she's going to be sometime there. Let me know. June or July baby. She's definitely going to be a Cancer sign, that's for sure, and apparently Cancer signs are lovely. So I'm really excited about that because lots of you told me that on Instagram. Are you certain on the name chosen, or do you sometimes change your mind? No, we are definitely certain. We've been certain, been right at the beginning. We came up with her name, and yeah, we're definitely certain. It doesn't change, and we both love it, and I'm so excited for you guys to know her name because it's so cute. Are you vlogging the birth? I don't know on this one. I don't think I'm gonna do like a birth vlog. I will definitely talk you through my birth afterwards, and if Niall gets like a few clips here and there, then I will slot them in. But I don't think I'm gonna like, I just feel like I want to really focus on the birth, and I think if I'm thinking about filming and picking up the camera and saying hello and giving updates all the time and making a full vlog out of it, I just won't be present. And with like the hypnobirthing techniques that I've learned, you've really got to be in it, and I think it might be a bit distracting. I just don't really want to be worrying about that. So if Niall gets a few clips on his phone, then we'll slot them in, and I will definitely talk you through how it all went at some point. Right, let's do a couple more because I have been chatting for ages. Surprise, surprise. What happens to Beyond and Bluey when you're on maternity? Do you have a maternity leave plan / timeline? So Beyond and Bluey will be handled by my teams while I am more off. So I don't know exactly how long I'm going to take off yet. I will be here and there. I'm not going to completely disappear, but in terms of like launches with both of the brands, I won't be, like, we don't really have anything going on that I will be required for. So that's what I've kind of been sorting the past few months, is to make sure, you know, our summer challenge is ready for Beyond. So I've just about finished writing it, just about to shoot it, and that will carry through, you know, 8 weeks of summer. And then likewise with Bluey, you know, we shot all the collections in one on the trip that I vlog. They will be coming out in summer. From September we'll have new collections coming, which I will be back for. So I think probably July and August I will be off the businesses, but the teams will still be running it, the socials will still be going, there'll be still things going out, but there'll be nothing new for me to like shoot or create at that point, because I really want to be present in those days. And obviously don't get like a specific maternity leave when you're self-employed, because the businesses are owned solely by me. I can't like fully turn my back on them, so I think I will be just dealing with like one person as like a filter to the team, which I think will be much more manageable if anything is really essential during those 2 months. And then with social media, I'll kind of be, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll be definitely here and there showing you bits of baby life and newborn life and mum life. Okay guys, we're going to do one more, and it's very baby. Are you going to breastfeed? So I hope that I can breastfeed. I think I might actually combi feed after maybe about 6 weeks. I need to do more reading into this actually, and talk to my best friend about it too, because she's going to combi feed this time, and I want to kind of know more on it, and whether leaving it for a bit is going to make it harder for them to take the formula as well as the boob. But that would be my ideal, I think. But I definitely want to breastfeed for sure, and I hope that I can. And then I also would quite like to possibly mix in a little bit of formula here and there, but I just don't know if I'm gonna feel like I even want to do that when I give birth. I just don't know. I don't think I will breastfeed for, you know, like a year, but I definitely want to do it for a while. And I think the most important thing is, I know there's so many opinions on this, and there will probably be some comments on this in the comments from me saying this, but I think when it comes to feeding, as long as the baby is fed and happy and healthy is the most important thing. It's going to be completely dependent on baby girl and what she wants, and also how I feel when she comes. And maybe I'll just want to breastfeed her, maybe she won't latch at all and I'll have to just formula. I would also really like Niall to be able to feed her too, and share that bonding time with him, which I know you can also do through pumping, but we'll see. I'm trying to go with the flow with a lot of things, like the birth and breastfeeding and all of that, and sort of having my ideals but also not being too fixated on them and getting thrown when it doesn't work out how I want it to. So that is just because I used to be so bad with that, and you know, if something didn't go the way that I'd planned and it would throw me so much, make me super anxious, I just have said to myself, with pregnancy and with the baby, I really don't want to be like that, and I want to kind of go with the flow a lot more, because a lot of things are going to be out of my hands. So yeah, anyway, that is all of my questions for today, because I flapped at you for so long and I'm sorry. But it's been really nice sitting down chatting, and I hope you've enjoyed sitting down with me. Please do let me know if you have anything that you can kind of like advise me on, or want to chat about to do with anything that I've chatted about today. I know I've chatted loads and loads of different things, and I know that it did turn very, very baby. But a lot of the questions just seem to be that way now, because I guess I'm really close to the end, and I haven't sort of chatted about things like breastfeeding, birth, and if I want like hospital or home birth. So I think that's why a lot of the questions were like that this time. But this will probably be my last Q&A before she comes, which is crazy, although I don't really do them that much, so it's not that crazy. The last time I did a Q&A was like 6 months ago. Anyway, I am gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are all okay, and I will hopefully see you very, very soon in my next one.